Hello and welcome to this special program. One of the biggest things that all of us should really be worrying about are the state of our roads, or more specifically, the traffic on those roads. If you look at the amount of accidents we have, it's actually frightening, but not entirely surprising. If you ever were to take a video of what happens on our streets or on our crossroads, speed it up, you will have to be beginning to think that it's the hand of God that is preventing all those cars from crashing into each other, because we drive badly, we drive in unsafe manners, we don't obey all the rules, and sometimes we drive while having had a drink or something like that, which is even worse. So a special campaign is something that we are trying to do to get people to start paying more attention to road safety. And joining us for that, we have the god of cricket with us, Sachin Tendulkar. Always a pleasure, Sachin.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have the Police Commissioner of Delhi, Mr. Bassi, with us as well, and Dr. Azad Moopen, who's the Chairman of Aster Healthcare, who's been driving a lot of awareness in this entire area. And of course, a bunch of young kids whom we've been trying to get activated and get interested in taking this forward. And that's, Sachin, is one of your messages. You're asking kids to take a pledge and to really come forward on this. Actually, it's a good idea, because when children really start to believe in something, you quite often have movement. Look at crackers. Once the kids started to say, ban crackers, we got a lot of things done.
Yes, I believe in that, because sometimes the information doesn't filter down from top to bottom, so you need to try and make it work other way around. Get them to talk more about traffic safety, traffic rules. It's really disheartening to see people breaking laws, signals and all that. I've experienced so many times myself. I'm parked at a signal and the cars are zooming by, and I feel threatened by that, because what if somebody comes and hits me, whereas I'm not doing anything wrong.
Sir, what do you think the main issue is? Because sometimes the very same drivers who will be perfectly well behaved if they ever go abroad, if they're driving in the US or the UK or somewhere, they will obey all the lights, they'll stop, they'll zebra crossing, they'll allow people to cross, but when they come back here, it's free for all.
So basically, it's a question of whether we consider this as immoral. If we consider this as immoral, then definitely people will not indulge in bad, if I may say, rash driving. But somehow, violating traffic norms is not considered immoral. So that feeling has to be generated, and I think you have done the right thing by identifying the kids. You see, this needs to be taught at nursery level, and in fact that is what we have been also telling various authorities, that this road safety education should be introduced at primary school level, so that by the time the child grows up, it gets into his psyche that it is something which is absolutely wrong.
If you study the situation, why do you think it is that people break so many rules in India?
See, there are many reasons. One, the amount of controls which the authorities have. From countries to country it varies. For example, we may have a very lax way of looking at it. Some other countries may have a very serious view of looking at it. So I think it's important also for the authorities to be stricter in some of the areas, like for example, even giving a driving license, or the fines which are there, or the punishment which are there for traffic violations. So I think one of the reasons is that the lack of that strictness in implementing things, which I think is something which we can do from the authorities side. But of course, the most important thing is the lack of awareness, even not taking care of oneself.
As far as enforcement is concerned, it is not a very difficult thing. We can always make enforcement very strict, but still it's a question that it should come from within. Unless this comes from within, people are bound to violate. You see, as you said, when you are standing at a traffic junction at a red signal in the night hours, when nobody is around, there are no cops, so people tend to violate traffic signal. So unless it comes from within, it is bound to be violated. So in my opinion, because you see, we have been enforcing traffic norms in the city of Delhi, where we have over 90 lakh vehicles, 33,000 kilometer road lane length, and almost 2 crore population. You see, we find enforcement has deterrence value, but fact of the matter is somehow it is not coming from the within. And once you focus on the kids, that is why we
So
have
is
been
that one of the
treating-
reasons, for example, that if you see right here in this city, when odd even was happening, a lot of people actually followed it and they did it. So are you saying it's because they believed in it, or there was something from within that
No,
this
no,
is the right
it
thing
was
to do?
no,
Or
apart
was
from
it
bit-
because you were actually enforcing it and you had high penalties for it?
No, it was one, high penalties, and secondly, you see, when you violate a traffic signal, if you escape, you escape. Whereas when you are traveling in violation of odd even norms, if one is traveling for 10 kilometers, one can be caught at any place within that 10 kilometers. So the fear is much greater when you are violating odd even things. So apart from enforcement, I won't say the voluntary, yes, there was some voluntary compliance also, one, and secondly, it was for a short period of time, two, and thirdly, the chances of being caught were there for much longer duration.
Getting it from coming from within, but is it, I mean, you traveled all over the world, right, when you go for tours, and then you have all of your friends when they come out here. I'm sure somebody must have told you at some point that I'm not scared of Indian spin bowling, I'm not scared of anything else, I am scared about driving on the roads. Someone ever said that to you?
Yeah, a lot of guys say that, and it's different. I mean, let's be honest, it's different. The rules are followed differently abroad, and here people are willing to violate all those rules. I feel, again, I mean, I fully agree with him, and I feel that it has to be from within. If you feel strongly about certain things, then you need to follow them. And then I also feel that abroad, if you are driving at a traffic light, you park your car exactly before the zebra crossing area. But in India, I sometimes find that people go way beyond that. So people are meant to cross from there. So why would you do it here and not abroad? So it's just
Actually,
about
here you can be, I've actually seen
thought
times when
process.
people are on the zebra crossing trying to cross, elderly ladies. Once I saw somebody with a pram and that car didn't
I
stop.
used to,
even.
I used to keep getting different ideas, and I felt that just before zebra crossing there could be these spikes coming up, so that you don't go beyond that. You have a flat tire if you go beyond that.
It's an interesting thought.
No, it is very interesting, but it's going to be very expensive. But you see, I'll tell you, again I will
Expensive
emphasize.
for the car driver or for you guys to install
You
it?
see, it has to be considered immoral. I'm saying if I consider, something immoral, I'm not going to commit that particular act. And perhaps this is the right age at which you should catch the kids. That is why there is a need. In fact, I'm sure Sachin Tendulkar now is involved in this. Now, perhaps the school authorities and the government, governmental organizations who are making the school curriculum, they will perhaps introduce this at primary level, at middle school level, at high school level, so that by the time the child becomes eligible to get a license, he is morally convinced that come what may, I am not going to violate traffic norms. Because my problem is that a person, when he is caught violating traffic norms, he thinks that it is his bad luck, one. Two, he thinks that the police is becoming unreasonable, two. And third, he thinks, okay, next time I may not be caught. And I am telling you, even abroad, we have a lot of violations. Like the speeding norms are violated with impunity in all over the world, except in places where you have speed detection cameras, or when you come across
So it's fear of getting caught that you think makes
yes,
a
you
difference.
see, that is making the difference. But you see, where you have no fear, there people are violating, even in USA, even in Europe, because like you see in USA the 70 mile is the speed limit, but if you are going on the highways, you find people driving at 80,
Do you
90,
agree with them that
95.
actually
Yes.
people do violate even abroad, or is it less?
People violate, it will be much less, but our whole idea is to look at the second part of that how to change this behavior, which is a very difficult thing, but still how to at least make a trial on that, where then there is no requirement for any enforcing. As he was rightly mentioning, I think we should be focusing on the children as well as everybody else, where we could spread this message by simple methods, so
Right.
that it goes deep into the minds of the children as well as their parents and everybody.
Okay, so in fact, some people had some questions as to how to actually take this forward. Yeah, so you had a question, Uday, about drawing the analogy from safety in cricket. You can say it's okay, fine. Yeah.
Like you have safety in cricket, you wear the helmets. What should be the safety precautions while driving?
And why is it that people don't follow it? I guess is the other question.
Yeah, see, driving, you've got to have your seat belt on. It really doesn't matter what distance you are traveling, because the normal tendency is, अरे मैं सिर्फ 500 मीटर ही जा रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं होगा, मगर वो कभी कभी 500 मीटर में ही एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है. सो एक्सीडेंट कभी बता के नहीं होता तुमको, कभी वार्न करके नहीं होता, इसलिए उसे एक्सीडेंट कहते हैं. तो मैं कहूँगा कि जब व्हेन यू आर ड्राइविंग अ कार यू हैव टू हैव अ सीट बेल्ट ऑन, व्हेन यू आर राइडिंग अ बाइक यू गॉट टू हैव अ हेलमेट. हमारे यहाँ बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि अरे बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म है इसलिए मैं हेलमेट नहीं डालता हूँ, और वो हेलमेट इनवेरिएबली वो साइड मिरर पे रहता है वो बाइक के. When I was batting, I never gave my helmet to the umpire.
Yes.
कि बहुत गर्म हो रहा है यार, आप पकड़ लो मेरा हेलमेट.
गर्म होता था कभी?
नहीं होता था obviously कि बहुत गर्म, मगर safety.
You were never
safety
tempted.
is
It's too hot. I can't wear my helmet.
Absolutely. I mean, I felt something was missing if I didn't have the helmet on. Then I felt something was missing. और उसी तरह बाइकर्स को भी वही आदत होनी चाहिए. It is just about your mental setup कि आप कैसे ट्रेन करते हो खुद को. एक बार आपको आदत लग जाती है हेलमेट पहन के ही जाना है बाइक पे, तो सिर्फ आप नहीं पहनेगे मगर पीछे पैसेंजर जो होता है उसे भी आप कहोगे. मैंने कितनी बार देखा है कि बाइक पे 3 लोग ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, आई मीन, और वो तो हेलमेट भी नहीं पहने हुए.
Okay, Devangna.
My question is that as a child, I ensure that my parents follow traffic rules, but how do I ensure that other people obey traffic rules?
You have to make sure that all your friends tell their parents, that you have to tell your parents कि सीट बेल्ट डालना ही है, या अगर जैसे मैंने कहा पहले कि अगर बाइक पे हो तो हेलमेट डालना ही है, और लेन्स जब आप चेंज करते हो इंडिकेट करना है कि अगर आप लेफ़्ट की तरफ जा रहे हो तो लेफ़्ट का इंडिकेटर देना है. ड्राइविंग करते हुए जैसे आपने कहा कि क्या व्हाट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, आई थिंक मिरर वगैरह सारे ये पोजीशंस सही होने, क्योंकि आपको जैसे बैटिंग में भी पेरिफेरियल अवेयरनेस इम्पॉर्टेंट था, ड्राइविंग में भी वही है. ड्राइविंग ऑन द फील्ड और ऑफ द फील्ड यू हैव टू हैव पेरिफेरियल अवेयरनेस. और अगर आप अपने फ्रेंड्स में मैसेज स्प्रेड करोगे कि घर में जाके सबको, सब जिनके पास ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस है सबको कहना है कि ये सारे रूल्स फॉलो करने हैं तुम्हें.
Peripheral awareness is important. What's more dangerous or scary, facing Shoaib Akhtar at 150 or driving down that road behind you?
Both, if not fully prepared for, are dangerous, because batting also requires preparation and driving also requires preparation.
Okay, we do have one person out here who I think is just about old enough to drive, so let me have the mic handed to him. I actually want to ask you a question. As a young person, right, when you're driving, do you ever get pressure put on your friends? Why are you bothering about all of this? Why forget the helmet? Doesn't matter if you've had a drink and you're driving. Does that ever come to you?
It does, but I have a suggestion for the government and the police. I think one should seriously consider subsidizing the taxi apps like Ola and Uber for the night time period, because I think that's your single greatest asset to conquer drunk driving. Because if people don't take their car out when they go for a drink, I think that's the best deterrent that could.
But how do you as an individual, I'll put that to him, but
I
how do
personally
you,
always hire cabs.
but how do you as an individual deal with it? If somebody is telling you it doesn't matter, have a drink and then you can drive.
No, I strongly condemn that and I tell them.
You
And
tell them
luckily
that.
my friends never.
Okay, sir?
No, it's a very good point which he is making. In fact, this is what is required. If anybody is going to go out and is likely to drink, in that case either he should have another friend who is not going to drink, or a driver who is not going to be drunk, or take a cab. And subsidizing perhaps is a very good suggestion, but I will rather say that when you go out and eat, or when you are going out and drinking, you are spending a lot of money. So some little bit of subsidy won't make any difference. So we must resolve that whenever we go out drinking, we are not going to drive.
Okay, some other questions. You.
Are you ever tempted to pick up a phone at a red light?
Have you ever been
That is
tempted to pick up a phone at a red light?
That is a good question. I think we can do all those things if you are not driving. You got to have a driver. So it's just like Mr. Bassi mentioned that when you drink, you have someone else to drive. Similarly, when you are wanting to talk on the phone, get someone else to drive.
All right, so let me get final thoughts from you, and the overall message that you would like to put out
Sure.
would be what?
Yeah. See, we would like to put out, this is something which is under our control. This is something which we could do actually rather than others doing to us. So we want to send down some very simple messages like the importance of wearing seat belts, the importance of not using the mobile phone while driving, and the importance of the zebra crossing the zebra crossing. Such simple messages through the children to the homes. That's very simple, and this is having huge acceptability among the schools and all. Wherever we have put forth this thought, now we are officially launching it now. We already had some pre-launch activities, and this has been very well accepted by the school authorities as well as the children.
Right.
So we hope that this message will go to the homes and to the children and to the public, and will reduce accidents to a great extent, because we lose large amounts of deaths and there are a lot of people maimed, and we hope that it will come down significantly.
In Delhi, we have got 1,200 schools where we have formed road safety clubs. Our traffic officers are going there, they are educating the kids, because we believe once the children become certain in their mind, when they grow old, they are not going to indulge in traffic violation, this problem will disappear. Kindly make use of this talk with a legend, and please tell everybody that we have to save lives on the roads. A lot of people are dying, and if you wear a helmet, strap it. 80% आपने देखा
That's
होगा.
actually a very important point. I mean, in cricket you must be also having, if you don't strap it, what's the point of wearing the helmet?
Yeah, otherwise, I can lose my wicket. I will get hit also, but I'll also lose my wicket
helmet
because the
will fall
helmet
onto
can
the
always go on the stumps. So I don't want to do both. I want to make sure that I continue batting. So that is really important. These small things are critical. You got to also know how to put the seat belt on, because I've come across many guys who don't know. It's a struggle for them.
What else is coming up? Anything exciting on the anvil?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
generally enjoying. IPL is around the corner, and before that, the T20 World Cup. So, without
Lots of-
any doubt, we want India to go all the way.
All right, let's hope India does go. You think India could go all the way?
Of course, I think we are the best side in the world right now.
Best side in the world right now.
T20, the way we have played, I think we are the most balanced side.
Well, that's great to hear, and let's hope that India goes on to win. Any final message for everyone?
Final message to everyone is please obey traffic rules, and let's make it a safer place for pedestrians. We keep talking about our rights, but we forget our responsibilities. So with freedom comes a responsibility. So have a nice balance of everything, and it will be a fantastic place.
All right, that's all we have time for right now. Thank you all so much for watching us. So be safe. I think that's the basic message that all of us want to tell you. Be safe, obey those basic rules. You're not only just saving your own lives, you're saving the lives of the people who are in the car with you, and you're saving the lives of people who are outside there. So there is a lot that is resting on you. Do take the steps that you need to.